Ever noticed how we're obsessed with shortcuts these days? Life hacks, 5-minute routines, instant success stories, as if greatness is just one productivity app away. But let's pause the noise for a second, because beneath every extraordinary life you admire, whether it's a legendary leader, a world-class athlete, or a self-made mogul, there's something much more raw, much more real: pain. Not the kind that crushes, but the kind that cultivates. This isn't a pep talk dipped in sugar. It's a journey, gritty, honest, and transformational, into the heart of struggle itself. Because maybe, just maybe, the pain you're facing isn't a sign you're off track, but proof that you're building something that lasts. Let's get jump start. It starts with something so ordinary we almost forget how monumental it is: a baby trying to walk. There's no applause, no Instagram post, just tiny legs wobbling, arms outstretched, and the inevitable fall. Again, and again. The baby doesn't know what success is yet. All they know is frustration, a burning determination, and the sharp sting of failure. But inside those fragile muscles, something profound is happening. Each fall tears muscle fibers just enough to grow stronger. Each attempt rewires the brain, forging new paths. That clumsy, painful moment. It's the blueprint for every kind of growth we'll ever experience. Now fast forward to today. We live in a world that often only shows the highlight reels, polished selfies, success stories stripped of the hard days, the ugly cries, the early mornings no one saw. Social media has made it easy to think success is supposed to look smooth, like it just happened. But here's the thing. Growth is rarely pretty. It's often messy, repetitive, and full of discomfort. Yet we're constantly nudged toward comfort, fast results, zero effort, instant dopamine hits. That creates a quiet but dangerous belief. If it hurts, if it's hard, maybe it's not meant for us. But the truth is, discomfort is part of the design. Pain, challenge, and stress, in the right doses, actually make us stronger. It's called hormesis. Our bodies adapt when pushed, whether it's lifting weights or facing tough conversations. The brain? It's the same. Neuroplasticity means it literally reshapes itself when we struggle through something new. And psychologically, navigating real-life adversity builds resilience. Not by magic, but by practice. Every time you fail and get up again, you're training yourself to face the next thing with more grit. As Jodi Picoult put it, the human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. We don't grow despite the pain, we grow through it. So maybe it's time to stop wishing it were easy. Maybe the fact that it's hard means you're on the right track. Real leadership is never forged in comfort. Take Abraham Lincoln, a man whose presidency sat at the edge of national collapse. He led a country torn in half, haunted by death tolls, betrayal, and the looming uncertainty of whether America would even survive. Behind the stoic portraits, there was a man carrying the unbearable weight of a nation's pain, often alone. And yet, he pressed forward, step by painful step. "I am a slow walker, but I never walk back," he once said. That wasn't bravado. That was resilience. The kind that doesn't run from pain, but learns to walk through it, no matter how slowly, because turning back simply isn't an option.
It has the power to unite people in a way.
Nelson Mandela knew that kind of struggle intimately. 27 years in prison. Nearly 3 decades where hope could have withered. And yet he emerged not broken, but refined. His suffering didn't make him bitter. It made him a bridge. He carried the pain of apartheid and used it as fuel to unite a fractured South Africa. His words still echo today. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The higher the purpose, it seems, the deeper the pain one must be willing to endure. And this isn't just about politics or history. It's the same in business. In the stories of people we often admire for their success, but rarely remember for their scars. Elon Musk once stood on the edge of financial ruin. Tesla was collapsing. SpaceX rockets were failing. His critics were circling like vultures.
All right, so what you got? Bad.
Yet, he kept going. Not because the odds were good. They weren't.
Speed of 1.2 kilometers per second, downrange distance 11 kilometers.
Shortly after main.
But because the mission mattered
Wake
more.
up in the morning and think that that's what's happening.
When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. That's not just ambition. That's what it looks like to bleed for a vision. Then there's Oprah, a woman whose childhood was marked by trauma, rejection, and racism.
Got a really bad whipping for it, and
She had every reason to give up, to stay silent, to settle.
his hands around my grandmother's neck, and she is screaming, and she manages to push him off of her.
But instead, she transformed pain into purpose.
It's the first time we talked about this. Cousin Henry comes down the road in the middle of the night to help my grandmother get my grandmother.
Her empire didn't rise on perfection, it rose on persistence. Turn your wounds into wisdom, she said. And that's exactly what she did. Many of the world's most successful entrepreneurs share a similar arc. Not a clean rise to the top, but a series of brutal failures, recalibrations, and comebacks. The statistics even show it. Most founders fail before they finally break through. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's often the doorway to it. Even in the world of motivation and inspiration, the voices that stick with us are the ones that speak from the heart of their own pain. Brené Brown doesn't tell us to tough it out. She tells us to open up.
I tried to call deep on my courage, and I thought, I am a storyteller.
Her research shows that vulnerability, the willingness to be seen when you feel most exposed, is actually the root of courage and connection. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. That kind of honesty, it wakes people up. And then there's David Goggins, a former Navy SEAL who ran ultramarathons and did pull-ups until his hands bled. He doesn't sugarcoat anything.
Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world.
His message is raw. Life is hard, and it's supposed to be.
Okay, we're gonna figure it out because he is not going to stop.
You are in danger of living a life so comfortable and soft that you will die without ever realizing your true potential. Goggins doesn't inspire because he's superhuman. He inspires because he leaned into suffering and found out what was waiting on the other side. These stories aren't meant to intimidate. They're meant to remind us. The people we admire didn't escape pain. They embraced it, used it, and grew because of it. Real growth, real power, and real legacy, they're born in the fire. Not all pain is created equal. Some kinds of suffering are random, even cruel, the kind that teaches little and leaves scars. But then there's another kind, the necessary kind, the kind that doesn't just hurt, it stretches. It forces us to grow into something we weren't before. That kind of pain, the one that comes with trying, failing, adapting, and trying again, that's where the transformation happens. The Stoic Marcus Aurelius said it best: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. It's not about glorifying pain or chasing it blindly. It's about recognizing that when life gets hard, really hard, it's not always a sign to stop. Sometimes it's the beginning of becoming who you're meant to be. And yes, there are ways to make that kind of struggle not just survivable, but deeply empowering. It starts with how we see failure. Take James Dyson. You know, the vacuum guy. He failed 5,126 times before he built the prototype that worked. That's not just stubbornness. That's someone who turned failure into feedback. Each no became a clue that pointed toward a yes. That mindset, seeing setbacks as part of the process, is everything. Then there's this wild concept called anti-fragility. It's when something doesn't just survive stress, it actually gets better because of it. Like muscles after a hard workout, or your confidence after pushing through public speaking fear. If we build our lives and minds around this idea, we stop being so scared of pressure. We start welcoming it like a training ground. But none of that works without discipline. The ability to say not yet to things that feel good now in order to create something better later. That's the magic of delayed gratification. Remember that marshmallow experiment? Kids were told they could have one marshmallow now, or two if they waited. Years later, the ones who waited tended to do better in life, more successful, more stable. Sure, the study has its flaws, but the core truth holds. The ability to wait, to endure discomfort in service of a bigger goal, pays off. Still, grit without meaning can wear you down. At some point, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? That's what Nietzsche meant when he said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." If your struggle is tied to something bigger, a dream, a loved one, a calling, the pain starts to feel like a price, not a punishment. You're not just grinding for the sake of it. You're building something. But let's be clear. Choosing to embrace discomfort doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Being strong doesn't mean being isolated. In fact, the strongest people are the ones who know how to lean on mentors, on friends, on faith. They build scaffolding around their growth, and that structure holds them up when things get shaky. And maybe most importantly, they know how to be kind to themselves. Self-compassion isn't weakness. It's knowing that you're human, that mistakes are part of it, and that beating yourself up doesn't help you rise faster. It just slows you down. So if you're in a season of struggle, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Let it shape you. Because this isn't the end. It's the alchemy. This is how the pain becomes power. When you walk through the fire of struggle, really walk through it, not around it, you come out the other side with more than just survival. You come out with dividends, not always in the flashy, Instagrammable way, but in the real way. You gain skills sharpened by trial, a sense of resilience no textbook can teach, and a kind of wisdom that only hardship can offer. And maybe even more valuable than all that, you gain something inside, character, a deeper sense of self-respect, gratitude that's not performative, but felt in your bones. You begin to truly value success, not because it came easy, but because it didn't. Like Thomas Paine said, What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It's the weight of the climb that gives the summit its meaning. Think of your life like a river, wild, often chaotic, full of moments that threaten to pull you under. But with time and intention, that river becomes something you can carry. You don't lose the current or the power. You learn to contain it. You box it not to trap it, but to hold it, to access its force when needed. All the mistakes, all the late nights, all the failures and fight and fatigue, they don't vanish. They become fuel. That boxed river becomes your hidden source, a portable well of strength that flows through your words, your work, your presence. It's not about glorifying pain. It's about turning it into power you can summon whenever life throws the next mountain your way. Because, make no mistake, there will be another mountain. That's the deal. Growth doesn't stop. The journey never truly ends. Each time you level up, you'll find a new threshold of discomfort. But here's the shift. You stop fearing it. You start looking for it, because you've tasted what it brings. You've seen how every setback carved out a deeper well of strength in you. You've learned that suffering, when met with meaning, transforms. Viktor Frankl said it best. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering. And that's the invitation. Not to suffer blindly, but to walk into struggle with eyes wide open and say, there's something in this for me, something that will make me better. So if you're in a storm, keep walking. If you're tired, rest, but don't retreat. And when you look back months or years from now, you'll see what this season was really building. You'll understand that none of it was wasted. The pain didn't just pass. It became something solid, something sacred, and no one can take that from you. That's the legacy of earned growth, quiet, unshakable, and yours forever.